start with something that I think is also important about facts. Because recently on your show here...
I was just going to get to that.
Good. Yeah. Helping you out.
You want me to ask you?
Look, some of you have accused me of being a traitor to my country, a Russian asset, a Trojan horse, or a useful idiot, I think was the term that you used. Which basically means that I'm naive or lack intelligence to know what's going on.
They use that.
I want to let your viewers know exactly who I am.
All right.
Set the record straight. I am a patriot. I love our country. I am a strong and intelligent woman of color.
Yeah, did you watch the episode where Tulsi Gabbard got on to defend herself and Joy Behar starts panicking, going over her notes while Tulsi is refuting everything that she said?
Yeah, I mean, Joy Behar, again, these people have dementia. These are people who, should not be allowed out of the house. They have a national platform. I mean, it is crazy. They have no idea. These people have never read
Joe Rogan and Tulsi Gabbard didn't just clap back at The View, they obliterated it. What started as talk turned into a verbal ambush, explosive burns, mic drops that shook the internet. You could almost hear the silent scream. Twitter erupted. Memes flew, fans cheered, critics panicked. This wasn't just shade. This was war. And trust me, you're gonna laugh, cringe, and question everything. Stick around, because this takedown might change daytime TV forever.
Also a Russian asset.
So really? I mean, this is outrageous. This is outrageous and offensive on so many levels. I've served as a member of Congress now for almost 7 years, receiving high-level national security and intelligence briefings, serving on the Foreign Affairs Committee, the Armed Services Committee, the Homeland Security Committee, working to ensure the safety and security of the people of this country. This is why I'm running for president, to continue that commitment of service. It's offensive to me as a soldier, as an American, as a member of Congress, as a veteran, and frankly, as a woman, to be so demeaned in such a way.
You called her the personification of rock.
So demeaned in such a way. Well, I'm pointing to the fact that she has continued this legacy of being the world's police, costing the lives of thousands of my brothers and sisters in uniform. I'm speaking out against that and
What's your evidence to that?
to change.
Well,
Are you serious?
Let's hear it.
Are you?
Picture this. Joe Rogan and Tulsi Gabbard, two political renegades, holding their ground while The View hosts scramble, visibly cracking under pressure. That show? A daytime spectacle where the hosts somehow believe their hot takes are sacred. Scrolls. But this time, something snapped. The illusion shattered. And what followed? A moment so raw, so brutally honest, it made fans gasp. Could this be the beginning of the end for The View's carefully manufactured empire?
I just want to straighten a couple of things out. I've never said, and I don't think Hillary Clinton thinks that you're a witting asset. You might be an unwitting asset. Not that that means you're stupid, but people can be used.
That's exactly what it means, though. That's exactly what it means.
The other thing that confuses me, wait, I have one more question. You're on state TV all the time. Why do you go on Fox TV? Fox Channel, which is a propaganda network, 16 times with Tucker Carlson. I never see you with Chris Wallace or that other guy, what's his name, Brett Baer. Well, why aren't you on with them? They're definitely middle of the road. Why do you go on with Tucker, who's a liar and a propagandist?
So let me start with how offensive it is to say that I am a witting or unwitting asset of a foreign country.
And this is where things explode. Rogan and Gabbard aren't just throwing shade. They're launching precision strikes from a distance. No brawls, no debates, just brutal takedowns like stealth assassins. Surgical, silent, devastating. Like players sniping from miles away, they're dismantling reputations one shot at a time. The View? Completely blindsided.
You see something that really pisses you off, you should triple check that one.
Yeah. But I think that's why people like our show, because they know that we are checked by ABC News. If we're wrong, we have, the legal note here. This guy, Joe Rogan, who believes in dragons. I checked it. He believes in dragons? He believes in dragons.
Did you triple source that?
Yes, I did. So this is the type of really, really bad information that's going on.
I don't know. Hey, this is the most important part. This is right after she was saying, we are run by ABC News. You should trust us, not Joe Rogan, who believes in dragons. So she by saying we should trust them because they're double checked by ABC News, and then making the stupidest fucking statement. Like you didn't listen to what I said.
Yeah.
You didn't listen to what the wildlife biologist, and that's only a part of what he said.
I can't
the
believe
other
Joey
part of what he
Behar
said
didn't
was
weigh.
there was something before that where he was explaining encounters with giant reptiles. And
don't
there's
know.
also, listen,
It doesn't make sense to me
There-
that a middle-aged woman could be dumb. Is that
when
worse?
you're worried about losing your job and
Yeah.
you're worried about podcasts taking over and who's the source of news and we said Donald Trump was Hitler, but half the country disagreed with us and he won and this is fucking great and Joe Rogan believes in drag.
Let's be real. The View isn't a talk show, it's a ticking time bomb with cameras, a chaotic storm of opinions wrapped in daytime glitter. Picture this, a circus of unfiltered rants disguised as conversation. Whoopi Goldberg, the so-called voice of reason, preaching morality like society begged her to. Joy Behar, more tantrum than talk. Every disagreement feels like a meltdown. And Ana Navarro claims she's neutral, but she's doing political gymnastics to stay relevant. This isn't balance. It's a televised battlefield. They've sold chaos as conversation. But what happens when someone finally calls them out? When the internet says, enough? Is The View just loud or dangerously out of touch?
Could be.
That I am too stupid and too naive and lack the intelligence
No.
to know what I am doing.
Can you-
That is
can I get-
extremely
Can I get you to
offensive
put
to
the
me and
quote
to
up?
every
you
woman
guys
of
put
color.
the quote back up because I think everyone has sort of missed something.
What are we missing?
Well, I think what you're missing is that asset had nothing to do with Tulsi. She was talking about Jill Stein.
Actually,
yes,
her
that's and an ass.
spokesperson confirmed it.
I'm not making it.
They called you a Russian doll.
Her spokesperson confirmed
You
it
know-
because some of the media followed up and asked for her spokesperson to say what she meant and confirmed that they were talking about me. So there was no mistaking that.
Right.
Okay, well,
Okay.
that's clear.
But let's be clear, we're not here to unpack their fragile egos or psychoanalyze daytime divas. No, this is a roast of epic proportions. And who better to light the match than Joe Rogan, the king of no-filter takedowns? His podcast? A global wildfire. His commentary? Blunt force truth. He doesn't tiptoe, he detonates. So when Rogan locked eyes on The View, it wasn't petty, it was war. This wasn't shade, it was scorched earth. The man came swinging with full-force verbal fire, slicing through ego and illusion like a blade. And the first to catch heat? Whoopi Goldberg, the so-called voice of moral clarity. Rogan called her out, hard, for preaching like a prophet while riding the fading fumes of forgotten film roles. Ouch. He's made a name gutting hypocrisy. Left, right, center. Woke warriors, he's their worst nightmare. Over time, he's sharpened his edge into something deadly. And when it came to The View, he didn't flinch. No mercy, no filters, just raw surgical truth. But here's the real question.
Problem with that show is that show has this very specific ideological bubble in which they operate in. You know, and they always bring on a token conservative woman and they yell over her and silence her. And, you know, they did that with Meghan McCain and they did that with what is that other blonde woman from Survivor? Do you remember her, Jamie? She was always yelling. I mean, it's a bizarre show. I think the way before you start, I think the way you described it is brilliant and the way we should all look at it. Of course, you're going to see race. The idea of being colorblind is ridiculous, but treat everybody. They're just human beings.
Yeah.
Everybody's just individual.
She built a legacy on one movie, Ghost. But let's be honest, even that hasn't aged well. And yet, Whoopi Goldberg walks through the media world like royalty, untouchable, unimpeachable, unchallenged. Until now, Joe Rogan wasn't buying the hype. He didn't flinch. He didn't praise. He saw through the performance, the layers of outdated prestige, and tore it down. Fast. Whoopi wasn't just criticized, she was dismantled. Her reputation, shredded in real time, Rogan painted her not as a thinker, but as a parrot, a master, of saying a lot while meaning nothing. And suddenly, the audience could see it too. He didn't jab. He sliced. Through every smug line, every sanctimonious moment. Whoopi's presence had always felt powerful. But under Rogan's lens, it looked hollow, inflated, loud, and eerily empty. She'd perfected the illusion of authority. Booming voice, strong posture, dramatic tone. But the content? Pure fluff. She talked over everyone, but rarely said anything real. And when Rogan exposed it, the silence online was louder than her next rant. He wasn't just calling her out, he was exposing a system, one built on recycled sound bites and social media echo chambers dressed up as wisdom. And now, with Whoopi's carefully crafted persona unraveling in front of millions.
Do you see what Whoopi Goldberg said?
What'd she say?
Whoopi Goldberg said that Biden could arrest all the Republicans and put them in jail. You just need to see how unhinged this kind of thinking is. Well, you know what Joe Biden could do? Joe Biden, you have to see it because it's so
On TV.
crazy.
She said
on television.
You know, just let's look at a scenario where the Supreme Court says, yes, he has all those rights. He is immune from everything.
Yeah.
You know what Joe Biden could do since he is presently president?
What?
Oh. He could throw every Republican in.
Now, let's talk about Joy Behar, the queen of chaos who's mastered the art of yelling without meaning. She treats fact-checking like it's a myth made for everyone except her. And Joe Rogan, he didn't just notice, he unleashed. He called out her piercing high-octane outbursts, the kind that only get louder the more sense she doesn't make. It's like watching someone scream into an imaginary megaphone, hoping sheer noise will turn nonsense into truth. Beneath her, media persona, it's not insight, it's theater. Minus the script, minus the punchlines. Her go-to strategy? Outshout the room, then act like she won the debate. But Rogan wasn't buying the act. He exposed the absurdity of her playing rational referee while actually leading the I only hear myself fan club. It'd almost be funny if it weren't so alarmingly real. Her personal grudges, dressed up as political takes, and the crowd somehow still clapping. But then came the twist, because the real fireworks exploded when Rogan turned to Ana Navarro, the so-called voice of balance, a woman torn between two political identities, flip-flopping like it's a circus routine. Rogan didn't hold back. He painted her as a political chameleon, one foot in each camp, spinning whichever way the spotlight hits. She wasn't just criticized, she was exposed, like a performer juggling ideologies, not because of principle, but for applause. Rogan stripped back the facade and asked the question fans had been whispering for years. Is this authenticity? Or just another act for attention? And now, the image they spent years building is starting to crack. Loud voices, hollow takes, and a stage where the drama is real, but the conviction? Questionable. So, here's the real question.
You raised a second issue about why I go on Fox News.
Yeah.
I go on Tucker Carlson, go on Brett Baier, go on Sean Hannity, go on MSNBC, go on CNN. I am here to speak to every single American in this country about the unifying leadership that I want to bring as president. Not just speak to those who agree with me,
Nice to think that
but
can
to
happen.
speak with those who may disagree with me, recognizing that I'm asking for the opportunity to serve every single person in this country. We have to come together
Joy, you used
for
to go
our
on Fox.
country and our country's future.
You
They
used to do
become
that for
outrageous.
friends.
They lie all the time.
Rogan wasn't fooled. He saw straight through Ana Navarro's act, a performance so polished it was almost pathetic. One moment she's echoing Fox News, the next she's channeling MSNBC. It's like she's trying out for both teams. In the same game, Rogan didn't just critique her, he dismantled her. Her so-called balance wasn't diplomacy, it was desperation. The kind that reeks of someone terrified to lose the spotlight. And that smug smirk, the one that says, I nailed it, Rogan called it out as what it really was. Hollow self-approval masking political chaos. But just when things seemed messy, enough. Tulsi Gabbard entered. She didn't walk in. She kicked the door open. A former congresswoman turned political wildcard, Tulsi doesn't whisper critiques. She hurls grenades of truth. While others rehearse safe talking points, Tulsi speaks raw, unfiltered, and sharp enough to cut through the fluff. And when she took aim at these self-proclaimed queens of daytime TV, everything changed. This wasn't petty shade. It was a demolition job. She shattered their narratives, live, loud, and lethal. While Navarro played both sides, Tulsi played by none. And now, the facade is cracking. Fans are left wondering, was it all just a performance? Or is this the beginning of their downfall?
Well, it is the show that people love to hate.
Yes, that's true.
They get so much hate watching and
Yep.
hate watching viral clips of them saying ridiculous things. I mean,
Yeah.
it is a rabies infested hen house.
And at the
Well, their audience is not really their audience. Their audience is a group of people they bring in to watch television shows. You know, I don't know if you've ever seen audiences before for TV shows, but a lot of them are paid. They're paid to be there. So, because they have to guarantee that there's going to be people there. So there's services that you hire. And when a show gets really, really popular, you know, like Letterman or something like that, obviously it has its own fan base.
Right.
And those people will try to get tickets before anybody else does. And in that case, they probably don't need to use a service anymore. They just get actual fans. But arguably, like, the real fans of The View that are like, oh, these ladies are on point, most of those people can't.
Tulsi Gabbard, calm yet cutting, wasted no time. She cut straight through the noise with the kind of precision that made you question everything. With each word, she unraveled the host's glaring hypocrisy, exposing their moral emptiness. But here's the shocking part. Gabbard didn't just point fingers. She tore down their carefully crafted image. Hypocrites, plain and simple. She exposed The View's so-called support for women. Behind their polished agendas, they ignore issues that don't fit their narrative. If your opinion doesn't align with theirs, you're instantly labeled anti-woman. It's political opportunism disguised as activism. Tulsi didn't hold back. She ripped apart their fake empowerment narrative, showing how they only empower women who agree with them. If you challenge their views, you're silenced and shoved aside. Her response? A punch of truth that shattered their moral high ground. The View? A platform for hypocrisy disguised as progress? The silence after her words? Louder than any defense.
Terrible things that are happening in our country are happening because we have people in power who care more about themselves and their power than they do about the people, this country, our constitution, our democracy. They are setting this incredibly dangerous precedent that now, much like many banana republics in the world, whoever's in power has the ability to politicize and weaponize that power to go after their political opponent. Take away whatever people think about Trump or whatever.
Right.
The consequences and implications of what is actually happening and what so many of the Democrat elite are justifying in the name of protecting democracy is
Tulsi Gabbard didn't just take on the titans of daytime TV. She obliterated them. Her sharp surgical takedown of Whoopi Goldberg revealed the truth hidden behind the wise facade Whoopi had so carefully crafted. For years, Goldberg had pretended to be the neutral voice of reason, the sage on the panel, but Gabbard exposed it all. This neutrality was a myth. Goldberg's political agenda wasn't hidden. It was front and center, wrapped in a veil of supposed wisdom. But Tulsi wasn't fooled. With the quiet precision of a surgeon, she cut through the illusion, revealing Goldberg's selective outrage, and that was the moment everything changed. Gabbard wasn't shouting, she wasn't ranting, she didn't need to. The truth was louder than any of Whoopi's self-righteous speeches. Gabbard showed the world that you don't need to raise your voice to win an argument, you just need to be right. And in that moment, Tulsi was undeniably right. This wasn't just a fight over political views, though. It was a masterclass in political dissection. Joe Rogan and Tulsi Gabbard weren't even in the same room as the hosts of The View, yet they completely dismantled the show, exposing the hosts as nothing more than relics of an outdated, irrelevant political narrative. This wasn't about having a real discussion. It was about looking good while spouting a pre-approved narrative. But Rogan and Gabbard didn't play by those rules. They tore apart The View's very foundation. They didn't just challenge their arguments. They exposed the entire structure as a farce. For years, The View had been the loudspeaker for one side, silencing anyone who dared question their agenda. Rogan and Gabbard didn't need to be loud. They needed to be right. And that's exactly what they were. The aftermath? It was chaos. Social media exploded. Memes, comments, and videos flooded the internet as fans and critics alike reveled in the burn. The hosts of The View scrambled, trying to salvage their credibility. But it was too late. They'd been knocked out, left, lying on the canvas while Rogan and Gabbard walked away unscathed. The silence that followed spoke volumes. Joe Rogan and Tulsi Gabbard didn't just expose The View for what it was, they revealed it to the world for what it had always been, a platform for talking heads pretending to be political experts. And, with that, one thing was abundantly clear. The intellectual heavyweights? The View was a lightweight.